Boom. Anyhow, this is Johnny here again. This is part 2 of comments. I totally forgot one of the most important comments from Nagelbud. Sorry, dude, I forgot. To me, the second part of your comment about all the scammers on YouTube, I can't remember the words you used exactly. The shills. There's a lot of YouTuber influencers who are, let me put it this way. There's some YouTubers who work for China and India. Pardon me, I said India. Let's say China and Saudi Arabia. Now, they probably get paid from the CCP, and they make travel videos, but what they're really doing is they're running interference for the CCP. What I mean by that is the CCP gets a lot of bad press, and so they're doing, I don't want to call it quality control, but I forget the term, but when the CCP does something really not cool, like what's going on with Corona, they're doing PR. Yeah, they're doing PR in the disguise of travel videos, and they're getting paid, who knows, from a state agency that gets paid from the CCP. Now, do I care? Not really. But a lot of people don't probably really understand what's going on, and that can hurt you if you kind of don't get what's going on. Now, let me address Saudi. Now, some people are going to get pissed off when I said about Saudi. I don't have nothing against Saudi Arabia. The current ruler, I think he's a kind of a jerk. And recently, in the last couple of years, he's made famous by doing some stuff in the Turkish embassy, allegedly. He was allegedly, doing some stuff to a so-called Saudi journalist who went into the Turkish embassy to get a visa, which was dumb on his part. He never came out. Just like the mafia people, like, you go down in your basement and you never come out, and you end up in a vat of, acid. Something like that. Growing up in Baltimore, they do shit like that. Or maybe you come out in Baltimore, roll up in a carpet, and then your neighbors see you. I hear about it happens in Chicago too. I don't know. I'm not from Chicago. But you hear about shit like that. Anyways, I'm just keeping it real. Anyways, there are YouTubers like Nagelbud's talking about who, influencers, they make travel videos. They make all kinds of videos, but I'm just talking about travel videos right now. They may make videos that are kind of disguised as travel logs, but they're usually selling something, or they're doing PR for regimes that are kind of politically incorrect, getting a lot of bad press. And when you recognize that's what they're doing, and unless you hear about it indirectly or you know some of the people in the business, I don't claim I know everyone or everything. I'm not claiming that. But my impression is, from what I've heard from a couple of influencers, they get paid to kind of do PR for these regimes, but it's disguised as a travel video. So you don't hear any disparaging remarks about the local government. You hear a lot of pro this and that, like of China. And the CCP, of course, wants to hear that, and that's what they're paying for. Now, okay, Nagelbud made, to me, an excellent point. So much of what you see in YouTube, not just when it comes to travel videos, but just a lot of videos in general, like news events, travel, business, so much is just a disguised ad. Like, I'm doing talking head videos, and you might have noticed most of the time, not always, but most of the time, I don't have a call to action to buy something. That's not because I'm against it. It's just I don't have nothing for you to buy. Like, I'm not like trying to do a video and trying to convince you to buy something. Now, I might do that in the future, but not on this channel. Not on this channel. This is just a channel of Johnny's musings. And see, what I figured out a long time ago, I would like to make a channel on expating, banking, and second passport residency, that kind of thing. But there are so many competitors now, and there's so much nonsense going on in the offshore world, and a lot of the consumers can't distinguish what's true and what's not. So unless you bend over backwards and jump through hoops, and to me act like a dumb monkey, which I'm not willing to do, I don't have any products or services. Sometimes people get annoyed with me, but like, I can just tell you, some of the providers out there are, I'll just mention International Living. They're famous. International Living is famous, and they're famous for doing a lot of stuff. I will just say, if you don't know that they're selling overpriced real estate, then you're the sucker. Like Warren Buffett says, if you don't know who the sucker is in a poker game, you're the sucker. Anyways, international living is famous for their marketing. They're famous for like if you don't know this, in the offshore world, there's company A, B, and C, which may be in country A, B, and C. They may own all those companies, but their name ain't on them. And each one of them companies taking a commission out of that piece of real estate that they're promoting, that they own indirectly through those 3 or 4 different companies. And they may even have individual employees on those companies that are not employees, but maybe contractors. Everyone's getting a little cut, and that's why that real estate costs you so much. The only cool thing about it is you're probably going to get the title. At least I hope you do. But other than that, you're overpaying for real estate. Now, I mention all that because in the offshore, this is not uncommon. There are so many famous. There's one chap in, I'll just say Acapulco. You should know I'm not going to name his name, but he is famous for those dumbass passports from, it starts with a B and ends with an A, and it's in East Europe. I don't want to say the name of the country. Like what the blank you want a passport from there for, I don't know. But I get, sometimes in private emails I get, I want a passport for Venezuela, help me get a passport for Venezuela. No. Even if you get that sucker, you can travel on it and be stuck in some country because everyone knows they sell those passports. That's why I don't want to get involved in that. What's the profit for me if you end up in jail somewhere for traveling on some document that everyone knows the government's selling, or some government employees who are corrupt, and especially from Venezuela? That's like a total red flag. That's like what happened in Paraguay. I don't want to mention the shit that happened down there, but it's just like that chap in Acapulco. Anyways, his big sin, as far as I'm concerned, wasn't anything to do with the passports he's selling from the B country in Eastern Europe, but he did some other things that I thought were unsavory. Now, allegedly, he's turned his life around. He's a spiritual gangster now. Let's hope that's true, but it's hard. It's hard to know. Anyways, once you ruin your reputation, it's hard to get it back. Anyways, in the offshore world and all this expatting and all these travel influencers, a lot of times they're telling you a lot of nonsense that's not true. They're covering up a lot of crimes and misdemeanors that are happening in cities and towns. It's really sad. Some of these young ladies go out there and some of them actually get killed. I mean, I won't get into it, but they come out there based on some of these influencers thinking it's safe, thinking they just behave however the hell they want. Nothing bad's going to happen. Sometimes they get assaulted. Sometimes they get killed. And these things happen to young men too. I'm not just saying women, but there are these influencers who want to kind of gloss over that stuff. And the reason they do it is because they get paid to put out a video. I didn't realize till I know a couple, so just a heads up, I know a few. Once they told me how much they get paid, then I understood, okay, that's why they work like 20 hours and 24-hour days. Because they get paid a lot of money to put out propaganda. So then I started, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. I didn't think they get paid that much, but let me just put some get paid that much. So they don't get paid to put out like how it really is. They get paid to put out whoever employs them, whatever they're selling, like if it's a hotel or a resort. That's one thing, and that's not a big deal. I assume people know all that. But sometimes they're like working for governments that want good PR to cover up their bad reputations or some unsavory things that their governments are associated with. I'll just leave it at that. I think my viewers can understand what I'm saying. But I agree with Nagelbud. There's just, if people would just come out and say, hey man, this is an affiliate link, or I'm getting a commission for this, or this passport's totally fake and totally freaking useless. But if you want to buy it for 10 grand, go ahead and send me the money. But when you're selling stuff like that, no one's going to come out and say that. But that's what it is. And I've gotten a few emails. Can you hook me up with this passport from Venezuela? No, I can't. I don't know those people anyways. I don't want to know them. And it's just because I don't see the point. Like, I do know some things. And if you're going to go that route, Venezuela ain't the country for you, man. I can't say too much, but there's other countries that probably would be better for that. Venezuela is so famous for doing that. Just like Paraguay got so famous for the so-called instant passport in 6 months that now it's hard to get a real passport. Now they make you jump through a lot of hoops. You get residency, then you got to live there for more than 6 months. Then you got to have a job. Well, you don't have to, but they want you to have a job there. They want you to have a real business there. They want you to prove you actually live there 6 months a year. yada yada yada, because of what happened to that Lund lady. I won't mention her name, but with the German sounding last name, she got caught out. Nothing ever. I thought nothing would happen, but I heard recently nothing ever happened. She made some kind of campaign contribution, and she's in business again. Apparently, I don't know. That's just what I heard. But because of what she did and what other people did in Paraguay, it's hard now to get a real legitimate passport from Paraguay. Just like if you buy something in Venezuela, I don't know what good it's going to do because you can barely travel on it, and you're going to use it to bank. Are you kidding me? There's easier ways to bank for much less money, especially if you're coming from India or Pakistan. If you think coming from India to Pakistan and a Venezuelan passport is going to help you, I respectfully disagree, but that's just me. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out, that Nagelbud's right. There's a lot. You gotta, I don't know, read between the lines, be skeptical when you hear about stuff from so much of YouTube, just not just the travel vloggers, but the influencers in general in politics and travel and business. They all have an ulterior motive to sell you stuff, which I assume most of my viewers know, but sometimes it's even more nefarious than that. They don't have any interest in selling you stuff that actually works, that's actually effective. I think most people kind of sense it, but I don't think they realize the scope of the problem. In fact, from what I've learned, there's some, when it comes to like affiliate marketing and I don't know how to put it, like just sales in general, but mostly like kind of the get rich quick kind of stuff. The reason it's sold so much is because that's what people want. Like the consumer doesn't really want to know the truth. They just want to be sold a line of bullshit that they don't have to work hard and everything will come easy, like trading, like online marketing. That's why those things are so popular. But there's some dark figures, in my understanding, from some people I know that are really good at what they do. They make hundreds of thousands to millions selling products they know won't work, aren't really effective. But the reason they do it is because there's a demand for it. Like they know they could sell products that work, but they know there's no demand because people don't really want to buy stuff where they have to work hard, sweat it out, and learn stuff, and go through a learning curve because they know it's not profitable. It's actually more profitable to sell a bunch of nonsense. Just tell people a bunch of happy talk, unicorns, moonbeams, things like that, rather than just telling the truth. So I kind of understand it, but because one of my acquaintances, he said it's very, very dark. So, I can understand why he doesn't like talking about, but apparently there are people like that. And it's not just in the get-rich-quick schemes, but it's in the offshore world. It's in the travel influencer world. There's especially lots of nonsense there because there are so many young men and women out there competing in the travel influencer market, and they all have their own products and services. Probably 80, if you believe in the 80-20 principle, 80% of which doesn't even work. 20% works, maybe by luck. Who knows? Maybe some of them are good products. I don't know. But, yeah, like, Nagelbud's right. There's just a lot of nonsense online. Not just YouTube, but YouTube, Facebook. Pick your poison, or as far as your sales funnel, as far as online media. But, yeah, I just want to put that on. I'm going to put this video up. I just had forgotten to mention it because I am aware of a lot of the kind of fake stuff out there, the shills. Some of it I assume my viewers know, but some of it I don't think people realize the extent that, whether it's the U.S. government, the Saudi, the Chinese, I'm not saying one or the other. I'm saying most governments employ these influencers, but I would doubt most Americans even recognize these influencers are paid through offshore. I'm going to put that in parentheses, offshore companies that, no one can prove it's the government or the Chinese, but ultimately this money comes from governments to do PR for a lot of dark stuff that they do, or to get consumers to do certain things, which is it's really awful, really, really awful. So he made a good point, starting an offline business, especially offshore outside of your country of birth, like if you're from a first world country, is really rewarding. And for some countries, to some reasons, it can be. I'm just saying it can be really profitable, and to A/B test different ideas and things can be very, very, very affordable. And anyways, shout out to Nagelbud for that comment. Thank you. That's the end of this little rant. Like, share, leave a comment. Thanks.